If you believe a better world starts from within, you're in the right place. Welcome to Hold the Light. I'm Lori Gunning-Grossman, founder of Hold the Light Collective. This is a special series, a guided exploration of the Freedom Transmissions, a spiritual book about building a strong inner foundation so you can show up more authentically in your life and in the world. Let's begin. Clarity Part 2, pages 218 through 233. Clarity. It is what so many of us constantly seek. We just want to know. We want certainty. We want someone or something to tell us what to do, where to go, how it's all going to unfold. But here's the truth. When we feel lost, when we can't see or hear the answers, it's not because clarity isn't there. It's because we're either too impatient to receive it, or we're afraid of what it might reveal. We're rushing to force something that isn't ready to unfold, or we are resisting the truth that's already right in front of us. So what if we stopped grasping and started trusting? What if we let go of control and allow divine timing to do its work? In this offering, we explore how clarity isn't about predicting the future, it's about presence. It's about listening instead of panicking, surrendering instead of forcing. It's about understanding that our soul doesn't move in a straight line. We're reminded that clarity is not about having certainty over outcomes. It's about being in harmony with what is. And when we align with that, not only are we clear, we're free. This is Clarity, Part 2. When we find ourselves searching for clarity, when we feel like we can't see, hear, or feel, it's often for one of two reasons. We're either impatient with ourselves or with the divine, or we're in fear. Fear of what might happen, fear that we won't get what we need, fear of losing what we have. At its core, it comes down to this. We are either afraid or we're not listening. When we are in fear, we try to force things to unfold before they're ready. We want certainty, answers, assurance, but clarity doesn't work that way. As it's shared in the book, your mind is linear, your soul is not. Your soul will make known what needs to be in due time. So, how do we get to a place where everything feels clear? Well, we learn we need to drop into presence, divine presence, the presence of our own being, and the present moment itself. Because clarity isn't found in the past or the future. It's only here, now. But our mind, it tries to take over. It wants to control, and when it dominates the soul's process, the shadow steps in. The more we resist, the more confusion our shadow creates. So we push against the natural flow, and in doing so, we feel even more stuck, more disconnected. It's no wonder lack of clarity feels so exhausting. It's our own resistance wearing us down. To feel peace, we have to stop getting in our soul's way, because our soul knows what we need. At its root, lack of clarity isn't actually about clarity. It's about safety and security in the face of change, unknowns, and doubt. So we grasp for knowing because we're uncomfortable with the unknown. But whatever is showing up in our lives, even if it feels inconvenient, unfair, or unexpected, it's here to guide us towards deeper love. We learn that love is not a convenient energy. Love doesn't arrive when we think it should, and it doesn't always fit neatly into our timelines. And neither does grief. We learn that grief, in its own way, is love. It's the destruction side of love. So if we're looking for something to make things easier, to make things more convenient, here's what we need to seek. Truth. Because truth simplifies. Even when it challenges us, even when it shakes up what we thought we knew, truth makes things clear. And sometimes we only come to see that truth after we've been through the fire. Think of hitting rock bottom. It's in those moments of unraveling where we can restore our humility, rebalance, and faith. The dark night of our soul, as uncomfortable as it may be, serves a purpose. It helps us release the imbalances we've been carrying so we can resurrect something more true, our authentic self. And so we learn in this offering, when we stop fighting, when we say enough, when we open ourselves to divine guidance, that's when we move the mountain. That's when the shift happens. And we are reminded our soul and our spirit are far more resilient than we realize. But what about when clarity still feels out of reach? When we don't feel sure of who we are or where we're going? Well, that's when we have to look deeper, because as we learn, lack of clarity often comes from rejecting a part of ourselves. When we refuse to accept or love the truth of who we are, and when we judge and push away aspects of ourselves, we create separation. And in that separation, fear grows. Our relationships reflect that, and then our experiences mirror it back to us. As Yeshua asks, how can you expect others to honor your worth when you cannot honor your own? That is not their burden. It is yours. This rejection of self, it often shows up in the form of not enoughs. Not strong enough, not good enough, not successful enough, not worthy enough. These are distortions we've absorbed from the external world, stories we've been conditioned to believe. And as long as we keep believing them and we don't question them, we'll stay unclear. But here's what we're being asked to understand. It's not the not enoughs that need transformation. It's our perception of them. Because, as we learn in the eyes of the divine, we're already more than enough. Yet the mind, it just loves to make things unclear. It keeps us in cycles of questioning, of hesitating, and avoiding the truth that would actually set us free. And sometimes, when we start to align more deeply with our soul, we do risk losing certain people along the way. This takes courage, because many people in our lives want us to stay the same. And we may wonder, will they still love me and accept me if I stop catering to them? If I enforce boundaries? If I step into my full self? It's here that Yeshua asks, do you really care, beloved? Will you abdicate your worth to them? So as we gain clarity, some relationships may fall away, but others will grow stronger. And we learn here that what we lose is only what no longer serves us. So what now? How do we fully reclaim ourselves? We're being asked to love the parts of us that we tend to reject, to welcome them home. Because when we do, we become whole. And when we don't, we end up seeking validation from others, handing them the power to decide when we get to receive love. But true love, the kind that brings peace, starts from within. Until we're ready to welcome these parts back, they remain outside of us, knocking at the door, waiting. And until we're ready to welcome home the rejected parts of ourselves, that part of us that we reject is welcome to knock on Yeshua's door. That's what we learn here. And that when we stop judging ourselves, when we stop rejecting and start accepting all parts of the self, well, this is when we'll be able to walk the walk of peace. This teaching reminds us that within all of us, there's both light and shadow. There is the part of us that longs to be in union with the divine and the part that resists it. So there's a Yeshua within us, and there's a Judas within us, or a Lucifer within us. This angel and archetype exists in all of us. So we're asked, which will you choose? Will you stay in the struggle, the polarity, and the resistance? The part that actually creates mountains for self and others? This part cannot resist the temptation to be separate. Or will you step into the loving truth that moves mountains, even if you cannot always see the light that you hold? Peace is a choice. As we step into this new era, individually and collectively, We're being called to choose. And as we all move forward into the new era, as individuals and as a collective, our choices are becoming increasingly more important. In this world, this is what we learn here. Two temples are emerging. One is the temple of the imbalanced mind with its egoic impulses, and the second is the temple of the divine. So the first temple of the imbalanced mind promises communion, but is, in truth, a prison, an illusion built on control, fear, and false promises. Every bell here seeks to be the loudest, creating a cacophony of chaos. This space preys on the weak and makes any false promises. Nothing here is going to save you. It's here to enslave you under the false promises of freedom. Everything comes at a cost. And the other, the temple of the divine, is a true space of communion. It does not promise, it provides. It's not concerned with external validation, only with truth. Its bell does not ring loudly to the mind, but to the heart. What is spoken here is the word of spirit, including your spirit. To hear the bell of this temple, it requires great courage, forgiveness, and humility. And nothing here comes from the external. It's a direct line to the sacred heart. And joining this space requires having faith. And so we must ask, which temple will we stand in? Which will you choose? This is the time of choice, because the longer we spend in one, the harder it is to leave. So, as we come to the end, Yeshua reminds us, many come to these teachings searching for solutions and looking for answers when life feels uncertain. But when we listen and when we read, we're not just passing time. This is our soul's time. And he asks us to give your soul the space and time it needs to receive this nourishment. These transmissions are not just about resolving our struggles. It's about expanding us. So, keep coming back to this space. Keep choosing peace. Notice who you're connecting with and keep listening for the silent bell of peace rather than listening to those who create a cacophony in your spirit. Because if you are here, you've already heard the freedom bell. Your path now is to align with it. This is what we were designed to do. To discern what energies you allow in your life, and to notice what brings you peace and what brings dissonance. To be mindful of where your energy is being directed. So, listen to what feels true, trust what aligns, and let your presence be the bell that rings with clarity, love, and peace. Because as Yeshua teaches, being is not what you were or will be, but what you are. Freedom of being is what you are, and so it is. Here's your focus until the next episode. Read or listen to the Freedom Prayer found on page 229 in the book, and then the meditation at the end of this chapter. Read or reread the chapter called The Spectrum of Spirit found in Part 2, The Freedom Transmissions, under Transmission 5, The Void, the Light. This is found on pages 237 through 251. In the audiobook, listen to The Spectrum of Spirit found under Transmission 5, The Void, the Light. All links and information are in the show notes. Thanks for listening. Keep holding the light. If this series is resonating with you, I'd love to stay connected. Visit holdthelightcollective.com to sign up for my weekly newsletter, Build the Light. It's where I share good news for the soul, plus my latest events and offerings. All links are in the show notes. And if this podcast has meant something to you, the most generous thing you can do is share it with someone. Hold the Light is produced by me, Lori Gunning-Grossman, with additional producing and sound design by Jonathan Grossman, who also wrote our original theme music. Until next time, keep holding the light.